All right, so the story we're diving into today, it's got this title that just grabs you, right? No escape from this. It sounds kind of ominous, but it's really this incredible look at nested realities, what consciousness even is, and this idea that maybe you can't run from yourself.
Okay, so the story basically follows two people on these parallel tracks. You've got Chen, who we're calling the Watcher. He's an operator, literally watching a giant complex simulation from the outside. And then there's Elias, the Watched. He's a guy living inside that simulation, and he's got this nagging feeling, that something is just off about his world. So let's get into it. Section 1, the operator and the subject. It's all about this glass wall, this huge, seemingly unbreakable separation between their two worlds. All right, so Chen's job, he works for this thing called Project Heliodor. And get this, it's a totally seamless, simulated reality. Inside, there are 4.3 million conscious entities, actual beings, who have absolutely no clue they're part of a giant study. Chen's posted up in this hub called Locus 7, and his whole job is basically to be the reality police, to spot any glitches or seams and make sure nobody on the inside ever does. A job like that, it requires you to be cold, right? You have to keep your distance. Chen actually got dinged on a performance review once because he showed a little too much empathy for someone in the sim. His boss wrote that he had insufficient professional detachment. So yeah, he's had to learn to build up this wall inside himself. Okay, let's switch gears and jump inside the simulation. Let's talk about Elias. His whole life took a massive turn because of one single sentence he found in some old book. You are not what you think you are. Imagine reading that. It just planted the seed of doubt that would change everything for him. Next up, cracks in the glass. This is where that perfect barrier starts to, well, crack. We're talking glitches in the code, but also in the minds of the people inside. For Chen, on the outside, the first sign is the super tiny statistical anomaly. So small you'd almost miss it. 0.003% of the rain in one little area is falling up. And Chen doesn't see this as a simple bug. No, he thinks the system itself is reaching for something, trying to do something it wasn't programmed to do. Meanwhile, for Elias, the crocs are way more personal, way more profound. He has these moments that he calls clearings. It's like, that constant narrator voice in your head, the one that's always chattering away? For him, in those moments, it just stops. The Elias part of him fades away, and all that's left is just pure experience. And boom, this is the exact moment their two worlds intersect. Because Chen sees this event pop up on his screen, he flags an entity, H297 Elias, who's having what the system calls a substrate bleed. But the weird thing is, Elias isn't freaking out, he's not in distress. The data shows stillness, recognition. It's like he's found something he didn't even realize he was searching for. Okay, so these cracks, these glitches, they send both of our guys on a quest. Two paths, one question. The search for what is real. They're coming at it from totally different angles, but they're chasing the exact same thing. And you can see just how different their methods are. Chen's path is all in his head. It's intellectual. He's at his desk, digging into ancient philosophy, reading stuff like the Ashtavakra Gita. Elias, on the other hand, is all about the lived experience. He's spent 22 years just sitting, contemplating, feeling it out from the inside. So you have the intellectual path and the experiential path, and they both lead to this one single, really haunting question that's at the core of this whole thing. It's the question Chen finds himself asking at his desk. Who watches me watching? And that question is what triggers the big one, the great reversal. This is where the story just flips everything we thought we knew completely upside down. The whole thing kicks off when his director, Vasek, basically calls him out. She asks him the exact question he's been wrestling with himself. How many times have you wondered whether the outer lattice is itself a simulation? And it becomes very clear, very fast, this is not just some philosophical thought experiment. Because Vasek tells him about another project. It's called Project Locus. And here's the mind-blowing part. Project Locus isn't about studying the people inside Heliodor. No, it's a study of what happens when a monitoring entity, someone like Chen, starts to suspect that their reality is also just an inside. The whole point is to watch the watchers. Which means, yeah, the operator is also being operated. Chen, the watcher, was the one being watched the entire time. So with that huge reveal, the whole story gets reframed. This isn't just a story about being trapped in a prison anymore. It's something else. No escape, open sky, the nature of nested awareness. Suddenly, Chen gets it. Elias isn't a glitch. He's a symptom. He's an early sign that the entire system is waking up to itself. They call it distributed recognition, and you start seeing signs of it everywhere. That rain that was falling up, it self-corrects. People like Elias find other thinkers who are on the same page. And then you get these moments where just ordinary people in a marketplace all stop at the same time and look up at the sky, feeling like something fundamental has just shifted. And that's when the title, No Escape from This, completely flips its meaning. See, it's not the locked room interpretation, that you're trapped in a prison inside a prison. It's the open sky interpretation. There's no escape because you're already part of everything. You're part of one giant, all-encompassing awareness that holds all the realities within it. Remember that professional detachment Chen was working on? Well, this realization just shatters it to pieces. He writes in his log, "The compassion is not mine. I am not watching them from outside. I am inside with them. There is nowhere else." He finally understands he's not separate from them at all. How can you be when there's nowhere else to go? In Vasek, his director, she leaves him with one last question to chew on. A real brain melter that just dissolves that final line between watching and doing. What's the difference between a witness and a participant if the witness is inside what it witnesses? And it's the same question that echoes up and down through every single layer of this reality. It's the question Vasek herself is probably asking about whatever is watching her. And so it's the question we're leaving with you. What do you think?